Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UBNradio.com.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm your host, Wendi Cooper, and it's time to sit back, let go, and start living unfiltered. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. There we go. Well, that's a thank you for you. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Living Unfiltered. It is, and don't mind me if you're going to be watching this someday. Don't mind me because I'm going to go like this every once in a while because this light is going right in my retina. And I don't have a retina display. So, well, tonight is a reunion night, which is going to be wonderful. But before we get to that, Kurt got married.
Yes, he did.
And for those of you that watch my show or someday will watch my show, you'll know that Kurt is the board op, and I every day here at Living Unfiltered, I open with some kind of Kurt thing.
I'm no Kurt.
But Tony is here tonight because Kurt got married.
Ask me if I'm getting married.
Are you getting married?
No, nobody wants me.
Oh, that's not true. We know we want you.
Oh,
we don't want to marry you.
Oh, okay. See?
I want you. Yeah. It's got to go like this. What's up? So, Tony, have you heard from Kurt since he did the big doo-doo on March 28th?
I actually saw him at the reception. I went to the reception.
Oh, you went to the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me just about it for 1 minute.
He was having so much fun dancing around.
Where was it?
Well, I didn't go to the actual wedding to the church. I just went to the reception. But the reception was at his father-in-law's house.
Oh, that's nice.
And the bride looked amazing, and Kurt was you can tell he was just having a good time and so in love with his bride.
Yeah, he is. So, well, we miss you, Kurt.
Yes, we do.
And Tony's going to do a good job. I only gave him 3 pictures to cut away to.
Thank you very much.
Well, we're going to get to the guest of the evening. I'm happy because Peter Soby is here tonight. And Peter was for a very long time, my co-host. First started off doing all my social. We met at Kabbalah Center here in LA. And then he started helping me with my social stuff back at my old radio show. And then he became part of the show back at the old show, right? Welcome, Peter Soby. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Applause. Tony, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Pete, I'm so glad to have you here because you came to UBN with me and we created the Going to Market with Wendi and Peter show.
Right.
And that was fun until one roaster showed and I decided, oh wait, Peter, there's got to be more to life. Do you remember?
And has there been more to life?
I don't know. All I know is that I cannot see Peter, Tony. Can we take one quick second? See what I'm looking at? I'm looking at that on the camera.
The camera?
The camera handle. And I'm seeing the camera handle instead of Peter's eyes. Oh, yeah,
there you
that's
go.
okay.
Yeah,
hello,
we
everybody.
totally
We
see
just
each other.
moved it. Thank you.
So it's a real pleasure to be here, Wendi. It's weird not to be behind the board. Tony's there, so we know we're in good hands,
Yeah, well, he only has 3 pictures,
He loved the company so much that he bought it. We got the freaking owner of the company running the board. What's up, Wendi? That's some influence.
That's true.
But, just being here
Peter's
at
great.
the historic Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, I'm floored.
And
this
Scandal,
is like,
did you know that Scandal's on the 4th floor?
Yeah, and
Did
Key
you know
and
that?
Peele are here. And,
Yeah, looking.
for a young kid from Chicago, this is like a dream come true. I can't believe I'm on TV right now. I'm so shy.
Well, you're not actually on television, Peter. You're on global television.
I told everyone back home I was going to be on TV tonight. Come on, what's up with that?
So how are you?
I'm great. Doing
Yeah?
great, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, feeling great, doing great.
We had a conversation. I called Peter. I don't know. I was driving home from Orange County or something like that, and I called you, and I was talking to you about the new show and how I had the epiphany that the show Living Unfiltered didn't need to be about things that were serious, and like deep and wrong, but good and all that stuff, and that I really wanted it to be about something that things were funny. That I had to do funny, right?
Yeah, like the whole WTF you have on your
exactly
UBN radio site.
That's right. Right. That went from being What's Your Truth to WTF.
Okay. And people can find that over at ubnradio.com.
Well, they probably
and look up the Unfiltered with Wendi Cooper show.
Yeah, which hopefully they'll be listening to and watching and have found it already.
Totally, exactly.
What are you on, Peter? Did you come here all wasted tonight?
No, I'm just like in the plug-in mode,
I know you are. You have your radio voice on too.
Yeah, you're right. I do.
So, what do you want to talk to about tonight? Do you want to talk about that subject we talked about in the car?
Yeah, I said I'm an open book, and in the spirit though, we don't want to dive in the deep end too fast.
No, we're not. We're gonna.
There was a topic that came up right before the show started that would be a lot of fun.
We are. We're going to talk about that. I'm just getting people's feet wet.
Yeah,
Peter. So, is it true? Question number 1: Is it true what I hear about you in porn?
What did you hear about me in porn, Wendi?
Well, a little birdie told me that you were in a porn movie once.
Yes.
You were?
I was once in a porn movie.
And what were you doing?
It's actually a funny story, and it kind of ties into something I did this weekend.
Oh no, Tony.
Well, I actually went with a friend to the cheap movie theater in North Hollywood, and Sunday's half-price night, and we saw 50 Shades of Grey on Sunday for $1.50.
Did you go with a girlfriend or a boyfriend?
It was a girl.
Of course.
But, it was amazing how many... There was and I sit in the back in the wheelchair section, and I'm not even joking. There was about 5 single 40-something-year-old men sitting alone in the back of the theater.
Oh, God.
I was like, is this the Pussycat Theater or what's going on here? It was weird.
Which is actually where I did see Deep Throat, was at the Pussycat Theater in Hollywood when I was, I think you had to be 18 to get in or something like that, or maybe 16.
You saw Deep Throat there?
I saw Deep Throat. I know you appreciate that, huh?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine what that would have been like watching a full-fledged porno on a big movie screen.
And Deep Throat was like I don't think I ever did it again, number 1, but that's the only way you saw them. Right?
Wow, yeah.
And we didn't have video cassette or VHS or anything like that. That's the way you saw movies. And I think I did it once, and I don't remember who I was with at all. I blocked that totally out of my mind.
Well, was it a girl or a guy? Was it a boyfriend or?
I don't remember. I don't think I would go with a girl. I was forced. I was forced to go see
and
Deep
this was
Throat.
Back in 1990 or something?
Oh, you kidding? It would be in the early 70s.
Wendi, I was giving you a compliment.
Oh. No, I'm proud of my age. I'm 60 and I'm proud of it.
But that was a different time back then, So, that was taboo, wasn't it?
Deep Throat was the first full-blown porn movie with Linda Lovelace, right? And she was a nurse or something like that. I don't know.
But for you as, an 18-year-old, you said, to be going into the Pussycat Theater watching a porn, that was
pretty ballsy.
That was pretty nutty.
Yeah, it's ballsy. I don't remember who I went with, but I had to come from the Valley, and I had to go over to Hollywood because Pussycat Theater's on Hollywood Boulevard, right? Wasn't it? Hollywood or Sunset or something? Or
maybe.
Something like that. It was in Hollywood. But, I had to venture from the Valley and come over to Hollywood, which Hollywood back then was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No. No, that was before it got really bad, but it was still never good, even before it got really bad and then got better. And it's better now. It's all better. Yeah. Hollywood's all better. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting, but we need to know, what did you do in your porn movie, Peter?
So anyway, and the reason I even brought up seeing 50 Shades of Grey this weekend is because the porn movie I was in was a bondage porn movie. And it kind of emanated from the fact that, back when I was resident producer of a theater company in Venice called Apartment A, a friend of mine owned this bondage porn company, like an online company.
Do you have a picture of that, Tony?
Actually, they're called Dungeon Corp, so dungeoncorp.com. Little shout out the ogre over at Dungeon Corp. And, and he always came and saw the plays, and he's like, hey, Peter, can you do for my bondage porn company what you do for these plays, publicity-wise? I was like, I don't know, let's give it a try. And so I had a little sideline as the marketing director for Dungeon Corp for about a year. So I just did, their marketing and trade shows, so, LA Erotica.
You would go to the Erotica, yeah.
Yeah, I would be in charge of our booth and all that sort of stuff. And
I bet people, the thing that I talked to Peter about in the car that day was I said, Peter, you must have some really funny stories about, because for those of you that are listening, Peter has been confined to a wheelchair since you were 18 years old.
19.
19. And
a half.
And there's a cute picture of him, I think when he's maybe 15 or something. I have that picture of you off of Facebook where you're really young, but in the jersey. Got that.
Oh, right.
And you're standing on a field somewhere, I think, but we only see you from here.
Okay, right.
So that's been your life for all these years.
Yeah.
You're in your 40s now, and I said, there must be some funny things that have happened to you along the way, that you could talk about being in a wheelchair, right?
Totally.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a serious subject, but there's got to be some funny shit that's happened.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of what spawned everything. So.
Yeah. So anyway, I was marketing director for Dungeon Corp, and the owner, was like, hey, do you want to be in a movie? He's like, I got an idea about a character in a wheelchair. And he's like, as long as you write the dialogue and stuff for that part of the movie, it'll be great. And I was like, yeah, that'll be a hoot. So basically the concept is in the beginning of the movie, you see me interacting with my quote unquote wife, and she's been to the grocery store, but she forgot the Nutella. And I'm very angry at her that she forgot the Nutella.
What year is this, Peter? You have to give me a
This
year.
was 10 years ago.
Okay.
Before Nutella was really fashionable, really.
So it really was Nutella. You weren't just making that
Yeah,
up.
no, totally. And
I'm
so
intrigued.
I send her back to the store, and then
Bitch.
so we have our little, but you do see this thing that I'm a nice guy, but then all of a sudden maybe I'm not so nice, and I send her back to the store. And so, we have a little 5-minute scene in the beginning of the movie, but then when she leaves the house, she gets abducted by some guys in a van. And then the next, hour and 10 minutes of the movie is her being bondage porned. And
Are you there? Are you there watching?
No, I'm not there. So then I disappear. So then at the end of the movie, the guys in the van bring her back to the house, and, she runs into my arms and all of that, and you discover that I was the guy that hired the guys in the van to kidnap her and bondage porn her because I'm in a wheelchair now and I can't physically tie her up anymore and bondage her the way she wants to be bondaged.
Oh, so you did it out of love.
So I did it out of love. And
not out of voyeurism. Out of voyeurism.
No, I did it out of love because I wanted my wife to get bondage porned really good. And she got porned really good.
Oh, my
Really
God.
good.
That's so sweet. That's so Peter.
And so the end of the movie is just me looking into the camera like...
That's so cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the name of that flick?
I kind of don't remember. Maybe it's the scoundrel wife or the bondage wife or something. I forgot what it was. But the funnest thing is, so I had to come up with my porn name.
Oh, God.
And, I'm really big into music, and, but I also wanted, how most male porn names are, double entendres for a certain appendage of a man. So I thought it would be fun to not only pay homage to one of my favorite bands of all time, but to also do a double entendre about, instead of the penis, I did a double entendre for the eye. And so my bondage porn name was Steel Eye Dan.
Not Snake Eye.
Nope. So I thought it'd be funny. I've got, instead of,
Is
a
that your
steel
billing?
penis, I had a steel eye. So yeah, my billing on the movie is Steel Eye Dan. So there you go.
are so full of surprises.
And so that ties into this weekend. So it's so funny to see 50 Shades of Grey because, I've never read the book or anything, but, I've been on the sets and I've seen all the hardcore bondage, and, that movie was so like,
Good.
I mean, no, it was awful.
It was awful?
It was horrible.
I refuse to go see
it. The dialogue was like a teenage movie,
Yeah,
basically.
I can imagine.
And you were desensitized by
Being in
Dakota
the theater.
Johnson being naked for the whole movie,
Oh.
but the dialogue was just ridiculous. But I just thought it was so funny because here's this guy, he's like a hardcore dominant, and she's going to become his submissive, and he's got a whole room full of all these toys and everything, and I don't care if I'm
toys.
giving anything away about the ending, but basically she's like, give me
Spoiler alert.
She's like, give me the worst that you got, and he like takes out a belt and smacks her 6 times with it, and and then she gets
Is that it?
yeah, but she wasn't happy about it, and then she gets pissed off and leaves him. But it's like,
What?
if that's the worst that I mean, trust me,
What?
in the bondage world, that's like
That's
point
foreplay.
0001 on a scale of 1 to 100. So it's just funny. It was funny.
Well, it's made a lot of money, and maybe I should tell the truth about why we're really talking about Peter and the porn thing, how that did come up, because that wasn't just like
Wait, what?
a
came
little
up?
bird. On the way over here, because right before the show, I said, so Peter, are you going to secure petersoby.porn? Because now those are available, right?
Right.
.porn and .sucks.
Yep.
And it's a big thing. It's like, should Apple get, secure, and they're top tier URLs, right? So they're very expensive.
Yeah.
And, should I get wendycooper.suck, so I protect it? Or should I get easygopro.suck, so
Right.
I protect it and nobody else can have it?
Taylor Swift
Right?
did it.
Taylor Swift did it. Yeah, exactly. So that was
Very
what I was
swiftly.
listening to on the way over here. Yeah. And so that's why I said, Peter, are you going to get petersoby.porn?
Right.
As a matter of fact, Wendy, I was
should.
in a porn movie.
I better race to it, though, because now everyone watching this, the thousands of people, are probably going to jump on it before I get a chance. So thanks, Wendy.
Well, somebody just got Wendy Cooper sucks.
Right.
Oh, well, Tony Sweet sucks. Everybody sucks. But they're saying not to kind of give in to that, because what will happen is then all of a sudden ICANN will come up with, .dick and
Right.
.pussy and .kitty and,
Yeah.
.blowjob and .sticky.
But I guess they're pretty smart, because a lot of the high-end celebrities will buy up their names, and they'll just keep making more and more money off.
Well, that's ICANN, and that's not right, because it's kind of not that kind of company where if it's supposed to police or do whatever it does for the internet.
Right.
So it's not a company. It's an international company now, supposedly. It used to be a U.S. company. But, they're there to protect and to do with domains. And it's not okay to just come up with these .infos, .org. Well, .org has a purpose. .info failed. But
Yeah.
.porn and .sucks? What is that? What is that? That's just wrong.
And it's actually a good segue, because I was hoping that we could spend the rest of the show talking about net neutrality.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I'm joking.
Oh, good. He's good tonight. He's good. But Peter, if you wish to speak about net neutrality, we will. You're the guest. Let's talk about. Let's talk about what's new. Last time I saw you, pretty much you had just gotten better from being in the hospital,
Yes.
and you're looking good.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
You're driving again.
Driving again.
When did you get to be able to drive again?
I started driving 3 weeks ago.
You did.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, so I've been driving for 3 weeks and hitting the town and stuff, and it's been nice to get out,
No
not using
problems.
public transportation. And
Yeah.
but it was interesting. Like when I wasn't driving, I have a power wheelchair too, so I would get in that if I needed to go somewhere and hop on a bus. Just because I've got a lot of friends who would say like, "Oh, I'll give you rides and stuff," but it's
No,
it's
you
basically
can't do
impossible
that.
for me to get in and out of a
Yeah.
car and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's so hard. You
Yeah.
know?
I have a friend that's in a wheelchair, but she's kind of more mobile than you, right?
Yeah.
She can get up and get into the car. But even then, it's like, then you have these lightweight wheelchairs. Like, I don't know about if your wheelchair's lightweight.
It's not.
It's not.
My wheelchair weighs about 70 pounds.
Yeah. And then your motorized one, though, it used to be, Peter used to live right around the corner from the old radio station. So when you got your motorized
Right,
chair,
yeah.
remember, you
That's
used
right.
to buzz
I zip
over.
right over there. Yeah. That's right.
And you know what? I was just at the inventors thing, and remember I told you really had to have a flag, or why didn't somebody make a flag that went up and down?
Oh, right.
So that you
Yeah.
could just push a button and the flag, because he would go buzzing across the frickin' street, right? And he didn't have a flag or anything, and people can't see people
Yeah.
in chairs. And so anyway, this lady, she had one at the Inventor's
No
Corner.
way.
Yeah. and
That
it
was your idea.
Well, it was okay because hers wasn't automatic. Hers pulled up. I wanted an automatic one where you would just have to
Yeah,
push
just
a
like
button.
an antenna.
And then it would push a button and it would come down, right? And you could have like maybe a little 76 ball on it or something.
Right.
And for those of you out there that don't know what a 76 ball is, because I'm so old.
Everyone knows what a 76 ball is.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'll bet you $1 million that is not true.
Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I know in Chicago we knew what it was. We had 76 commercials with
Well,
the 76
you put
ball.
the 76 ball on your antenna so
Yeah.
that you could find your car in the parking lot. And then when everybody had 76 balls on their antennas, it was like, which one's
I didn't realize that was the original purpose of them.
Yeah, that was the purpose of them.
Hmm.
They would give you one when you went to a 76 gas station.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember way back in the day, like hot rod guys and stuff would have like the rat fink on their antennas and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that would be cool. But anyway, this lady kind of had basically that. She was just a lady that cared about people, and she saw the need that baby carriages needed them.
Oh,
and,
yeah, totally.
bicycles needed them and things like that. So it was a mock-up, and it was kind of cool. And I thought of you. I thought, yeah. Because even my other friends, they don't want to have flags. Here I am.
I know,
I
yeah,
got my flag on my chair.
Right, yeah.
Go Lakers. Or
And
whatever.
especially then once you're inside, it's like,
Bam!
just looks so stupid.
Exactly. So anyway, so what else is new? What's going on? Or
So I'm back in action, and had the big scare back in January, and
Big
stopped
scare.
breathing a few times and all that jazz.
He
and-
stopped. He stopped totally breathing. People. So do you know the story of my story about you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always interesting to hear the other
The
perspectives, because I was,
perspective.
from Monday at 2 p.m. I was out of it until like Wednesday or so.
So 11 o'clock at night, I'm getting ready to go to sleep, and I always
On
look
that
at
Monday?
the day it happened.
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah. And I'm getting ready to go to sleep, and I always look at Facebook really quick before I go to sleep. And here's Courtney, your
My
niece.
sister or my niece. Yeah,
Your
my
niece.
niece. Yeah.
Courtney doesn't know anybody. The only person she knew was me because she took the pictures from our last radio show.
Right, yeah.
So Courtney Facebooks me, and all she says is, Uncle Peter was found in his apartment unconscious. That's it. That's all she says to me. And she goes, I don't know anybody. What do I do? And I was like, oh my God, it's 11 o'clock. Oh my God. Should I go? Should I stay? So what I did was I got a hold of, I messaged Kathy Christofferson.
Right.
And I said, but didn't, Peter Silva, what do we
Had
do?
she
What
heard
can
about
we
it
do?
already? Or?
No, I told Kathy.
Wow, okay.
And then so Kathy and I are now like, well, Kathy just like a bulldog or
Right.
whatever it's called, the bull in a china closet, and she just went for it, right? So I'm trying to get some information from Courtney, like what hospital, is he okay, pertinent information.
Yeah.
Not Uncle Peter is found unconscious.
Right.
Okay, so I didn't go out there. We kind of knew that you were in the hospital. Where you were in the hospital, that you were in ICU, that blah, blah, blah. So I went out first thing in the morning, the next morning. I went at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was there before you could even get in. And it was like a mess because nobody wanted to let me in, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, and then... nobody literally knew what was going to happen to you. We didn't know if you were going to live or you were going to die, if you were ever going to wake up. Nobody knew. Nobody knew nothing. We didn't know anything. It was in ICU, and he was just like the guy in ICU with all the tubes, So we
Yeah.
didn't know. So anyway, we got your sister and Courtney out here.
Thanks to you.
And
Shout out Wendy Cooper.
I didn't know what to do.
But that was like
you got to write
probably-
that down now for next time. What do I do when something happens to you?
I got to write a lot down for next time. Trust me.
Yeah, let's hope there's not that next time.
All
but
right. Yeah.
you were very lucky. You were found unconscious. You were found unconscious by your friend. She's
Yeah,
so
my
lovely.
friend Anjali. Yeah.
Yeah, she's such a lovely person.
Yeah, and thank God she's a teacher. She knew CPR,
She happened to be coming by
Happened to
because
be
she was
coming
walking her
by.
dog.
walking her dog. Yeah, and the last thing I remembered was feeling like my head was exploding like around 2 o'clock on that Monday. And then Anjali said she came around about 5:30. So it was like, who knows where I was for those 3.5 hours, you know?
Yeah, and we didn't know how long you had been unconscious. There were so many ifs. There were so many ifs.
Yeah.
It was so scary.
But she said, like, she found someone in the building because she didn't have her cell phone. They called 911 and they instructed them to get me out of my chair on the ground, and Anjali did CPR. And so she said my eyes popped open after a few minutes, but I wasn't home.
Oh, God.
So then apparently the ambulance got there, and then when I got in the ambulance, I stopped breathing again, and they had to resuscitate me, and because I had another seizure, I guess, on the ambulance. And then when I got to the hospital, I had another seizure, and they had to resuscitate me.
And that's when they
again.
put you on, like automatic
tubes and stuff.
Yeah, well, they put you into induced coma, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they wanted to induce it so that he didn't have any more seizures, because nobody knew what was going on, but they didn't want him to have any more seizures.
Yeah.
So, but look at you. You're just
I
another
know.
miracle. Just
Yeah.
another damn miracle.
Yeah, and I'm not even joking about this, that I think, there's so many underlying things that led to January 5th, but I feel so much better now than I have probably in like a year or two.
Really?
Like, you just don't realize, a lot of times when your body's not feeling right, you just attest it to like, oh, I'm getting old, and especially if you're a quadriplegic getting older, you always hear that your body starts breaking down and stuff. And, I just like, I'm getting old. I'm a quadriplegic, but now I feel better than I have in years. So it's almost like I think my body just needed to like hit the reset button,
Well, what are you doing different? Are you doing anything different? Have you changed your diet from
Well, my
bacon
diet's, my diet wasn't,
bacon and peanuts, Peter?
I mean, it's not like I just had bacon and peanuts, but my diet was very bereft of vegetables and fruit, like a lot of people. And so, I got myself a new NutriBullet, so I'm having like fruit and vegetable smoothies every morning.
Oh,
and,
good.
Like a lot of it really comes down to,
Choices.
Digestive system for me. Like that's what was happening. Like I had kind of a breakdown of my digestive and urinary systems that led to a thing called dysreflexia, which led to seizures. So I just have to take even more care of my bladder, more care of my digestive system.
Yeah, we don't think about these things. For people with spinal cord injuries and people, that whether you're a quadriplegic or what's the other one? Paraplegic, thank you. There's so many things that a regular person like me, you don't know. And it amazes me. This is a little bit of a segue to where maybe we will go.
Right.
It amazes me ever since I've known you and we've spent a lot of time together, not to say, I'm not saying anything bad about other people, but I remember the first time I asked you at the Kabbalah Center if you wanted to push, right?
Yeah.
And I would see that, I don't know what it was. It's like people don't say, hey, and sometimes I would see you struggling a little bit, and it's like, well, I'm just going to push them, Peter, you're so appreciative of, just a little push, here and there,
Okay,
right?
good. I'm glad I was appreciative.
You were super.
Because I try to be appreciative. Yeah.
You are. My point isn't you. My point is other people, how other people don't have the consciousness about what's really, they're uncomfortable to ask. Can I give, a lot of people do ask, but people have to get past that, right?
Yeah.
And, or to talk about it, or to just talk about it and to ask you, what happened. And it boggles my mind when I watch people just walk through a door and not hold the door for you.
Right.
I mean, I see that, and I just go, wake up, give them a push, keep the door open. I mean, just be conscious of what's going on, or hold your thing, or do something. I just noticed that in the time I've been around you, because when I'm with you, I'm very like, what do you want? What do you want me to protect? I'm like a mom, right?
But, I have...
Let me cut your hot dog.
I have experience with people, though, in the past that there are wheelchair people out there that aren't so appreciative and maybe friendly about it. Like I've heard some horror stories about people that are like, oh, I tried to give this guy in a wheelchair a push and he was like, leave me alone, I could do it myself. And it
I could see that.
Just gets under my skin. Like to me it's like, at least just politely decline it or something. But So like, so the people, like, let's say that person that doesn't open the door, we don't know. Maybe one day they opened the door for a wheelchair person, and that wheelchair person was like, I can open it myself, and I don't know.
This is, for me, it's more of the consciousness of it. I watch people not be conscious. I see it with my dad. He's in a walker. I see it when one of my brothers is there. I'm not going to say which one. He's not watching anyway, but I will not say which one. But I see that he's not conscious because he's not conscious of kind of like the dynamic that's happening. Like, Dad needs some help, or bring the juice to him. Don't expect him to get up and come over and get it, But it's just that consciousness. It's not there.
It is easier just to like overlook it sometimes. Like, oh, I didn't see it.
Doesn't exist. Yeah, exactly. Tony, we're going to go to commercial. And when we come back, we are going to talk about Peter Soby's past disdain for people in wheelchairs.
Spicy.
In an average lifetime, 1,500,000 minutes are spent on the toilet. So what's the problem?
When you sit on a toilet, you're at a 90-degree angle.
Nature didn't want us to do it that way.
This causes pushing, straining, hemorrhoids.
That's crazy.
We want to create a product that is great for humanity.
Well, go time just got easier. Introducing Easy Go Pro, the only way to go.
Anatomically, we were designed to eliminate at a 35-degree angle.
You just sit, lift, and go in a natural position.
The benefits list is this long from a pure health perspective.
A healthy colon is encouraged by doctors for all ages.
It's the key to vitality. It's the key to longevity. It's the key to your health.
Be a healthy goer. Order now at EasyGoPro.com. Try it for 70 days. If you don't absolutely feel better, just send it back for a full product refund. Go time just got healthier at EasyGoPro.com.
How did everybody like my commercial? I love my commercial.
It was awesome.
I really like our commercial, my Easy Go Pro commercial.
Yeah, I love it.
My dream is, well, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
And
not going there.
everyone
Not
should
going
go
there.
out
Not going
and
there.
buy an
An
Easy Go Pro.
Thank you,
Where's
Peter.
the best place to buy it?
At EasyGoPro.com.
Awesome.
Actually, right now on Amazon, and it's $22.99. Funny thing happened right before I came here, Peter. I went on Amazon and I was selling for $27.99 on Amazon, $24.99 on my website, $27.99 on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
But Amazon Prime, you get free shipping, so it all kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So Squatty Potty and the others, they sell for $24.99 on Amazon. Well, I've always sold for $27 because we just have a nice solution. But tonight, $28 Squatty Potty changed their price to $28, and yesterday I changed my price to $22.
No way.
So it's really interesting to see what's happening there. I'll go back up. My price has to go back up. We can't afford. I have to give Amazon $10 of my sale.
Wow.
So I'm really only getting $12 of that, and then I have all the costs associated with it. But it's nice because yesterday we blew out a ton of units on Amazon.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. No, too late, Tony. Too late. So. So Peter, let's get back. We have like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's get back to your past, let's say, dispassion for people in wheelchairs.
I know, it's crazy because I'm a people in a wheelchair. But I mean, I've got, very specific reasons, like it really all emanates back from, I was injured in August of 1987 and I did my rehab at the Rehab Institute of Chicago, and there was like gang people in there, and it was a wide swatch of people. And I experienced there was a couple other quadriplegics like myself in there, and one gentleman committed suicide. And
this is a story you've never told me.
Oh, wow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when you're in the rehab, you kind of like, you're with the same group of people. Like, you all went in there about the same time, and you kind of are seeing yourselves all, progress and stuff.
Maybe
and
cheer each other on a little bit.
Yeah. And, I actually spent the first 6 months laying on my sides in a cart in a bed. I couldn't even sit up or anything, and had the halo brace on. And
No.
anyway, so like I saw one quadriplegic guy commit suicide, and then another guy who was a quadriplegic, a really good kid. He was like 17. I was 19 at the time. I kind of felt like his big brother. So he got a power wheelchair, and the first day he got it, he drove it into the swimming pool to try and kill himself. But they saved him, but he turned into a vegetable. So now there's this poor kid who's a quadriplegic, and
they should have just let him have his wish. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people that believe that if someone doesn't want to stay, they don't necessarily have to. Sorry.
Yeah, it was really sad, but that's not really where my disdain for people in wheelchairs emanated from. It actually came fast forward.
Hopefully, there's a little empathy there for those people.
Absolutely, no. Like I really felt for all those people and stuff, and but fast forward now to when I went to like 3 years, and I was at University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, and the reason I went there is because I got scholarships, and they have a huge disability campus and community, and it's easy to get around. And I was on the quad rugby team, so it's like a wheelchair sport for quadriplegics. But and I'm a really competitive guy. I was really athletic before I was injured, so I was like, oh, finally a sport I could do. But even in that sport, I was like the lowest of low. Like I could barely compete, and it was very frustrating. Like, there's all these other quadriplegics that, could use both their arms and wrists and are really strong. And then you got me that I just have like, my left arm is strong and my left wrist, but I can't really do anything with my right hand or anything. And so I was not a very strong player, and it was frustrating. But anyways, as it was a university sport, and we had to work out every day in the gym, so I would be there with all these paraplegics working out who were on the wheelchair basketball team. And, they would be very patronizing to me, like treat me like a little kid, and you're like, oh, look at the quadriplegic working out, and like, and just like, really like almost rubbing it in my face that they were better than me. And I just did not like that.
Well, that's bullying 101. I mean,
yeah. But then on the flip side, my first semester at the college, I lived in this building that had half disabled individuals and half able-bodied individuals who got their room and board paid for by helping us disabled individuals. And there was several quadriplegics that lived there, and, one of them committed suicide.
Oh.
And a couple of the others were just like, Debbie Downers, man. It's like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And so it's like, when I'm sitting next to these other quadriplegics, I see people like looking at me with pity. And when I'm sitting next to these paraplegics, like, people are looking at me like, oh, why can't you shoot hoops like these guys? And like, I just didn't feel like I identified with either group, and I just wanted nothing to do with any of them.
Well, you didn't identify with a wheelchair to begin with, right? You're Peter,
right.
And you're, and there's this whole, that's not who you are, isn't
right?
Your identity shouldn't be attached to a wheelchair, and that just sucks.
And I'm sure that's like an underlying thing too. Is like as it spread into my adult life, I'm sure there was some dark force inside me that just never really wanted to be identified as a person in a wheelchair. And in the world of shout outs and stuff, I got to say that, my first true blue, great, I did have a friend, Allison Losey, in college, and we're still friends on Facebook and stuff. But, she lived in Minnesota. We weren't really close. But then through her, I met a girl in Chicago named Miriam Paré, who's a really famous mouth painter, and we've become really good close friends. And
oh, wow.
We Skype like once a month, and it's great to have, and she's a quadriplegic who's like weak on her right side, strong on her left, and so we can Skype and be like, hey, when your bladder's doing this, what do you do, and stuff like that, and share information, and it's awesome. So because I did 2 or 3 years ago, I said I gotta get rid of my disdain for other people in wheelchairs and maybe help younger quadriplegics see that they could make a world for themselves and all that sort of things.
Right. So in a way, you were like mad at your wheelchair.
Yeah, I think so. That
Tony,
might be an underlying.
Can you turn me up just a little bit? I'm not hearing it as good as I should. Thank you. I want to know some fun facts. Like, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you in your wheelchair? Some fun facts, dude.
I mean, back in the college days and stuff, back before you get any sort of filter or something on life in a wheelchair, and I remember that I started this Battle of the Bands in community college, and I was in charge of it, but so we had to audition all the bands, but they're like in all kinds of crazy places. So I was getting carried up like to attics and all kinds of
Oh my
crazy stuff
God.
that today I would never do in a million years. But back then, we did. And, back in college when there's so much drinking and stuff, I mean,
There's a picture of him drinking
there's definitely, if you want to use the wheelchair to your advantage, I mean, girls would literally fall on my lap and start making out with me and stuff. Like,
Yeah, because
back
you're
in
a
those
very
days.
handsome man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, but I was
Yes,
right
you
there.
are.
They fell into my lap. We started making out.
You
It's
tripped
crazy.
him. Do the old wheelchair trip trick.
Yep.
Well,
But there was all kinds of, fun things like that. I mean, so I don't know how crazy that is or anything, but it was definitely.
well, there's got to be some things like, I don't know. You would know. There's just got to be some funny things that have happened. But anyway.
I mean, I know, like, I don't know how funny or crazy this is, but, I was dating a girl once, and she lived upstairs, and we lived kind of far apart, so we would meet in Venice and park on the side of the road, and she'd bring a bunch of sheets and hang them all around the windows of my van, and we would have our fun times in my van.
Oh my God. In the van? The van? That van?
In my older van.
Oh,
in
you're
this van,
phew,
yeah.
because it'd be like, that's the weird. I don't want to go in this van anymore. Oh, it's the sex
But
van.
that's just kind of like, it just is kind of like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make things happen.
Oh,
like,
believe me, I've been there.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in a VW.
nice.
No curtains. I actually lived in a Volkswagen van for like a year. One of those old school Volkswagen vans. Yeah, we had a bed in the back, me and my boyfriend, Bob. Bob Pete was his name. Up in Paso Robles. I was an LA girl. I found Paso Robles in high school. I went up to Paso for Lake Nacimiento for a... No, this is me from the valley, right? Me and my 3 girlfriends, and we go up there. And my dad was like the guy who had the first Mercedes in the valley. And, he never went on a vacation. We didn't do anything growing up. If we did anything, it was at summer camp or when we got old enough to just go do that by ourselves. So anyway, I went up to Paso Robles, and it was like, oh my God, this newfound world. I got like north of Thousand Oaks, and it was
Yeah.
like, whoa, where did this world come from? So I was immediately out of the valley. I turned 18 the next day. I went and moved up to Paso Robles, lived at Lake Nacimiento in a van. Seriously, I worked up there as a cashier. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, and then we lived in the van. We surfed, and then we ended up in Santa Barbara. And that's how I ended up in Santa Barbara, basically, with Bob. Yeah. And, but it was like it was just, I didn't know it existed until I was 18 years old, or maybe 16 years old, right? When I started to drive. I would be taking pictures of barns. Seriously.
Wow.
I would be taking pictures of barns because I thought, oh my God, look at this, a barn and a horse and a cow. Yeah. Yeah, and I lived in LA, so,
So, back to me. I do have to do another shout out. Speaking of, like, say, University of Illinois, speaking of girlfriends, all that, my college sweetheart, Beth, started a van fund for me when I was
Oh,
in the hospital
is that
and
who
stuff.
Beth is? See, I didn't know who
she
Beth
was.
was.
She was my
Or
college
is.
sweetheart, my junior year, and now in the spirit of shout out, Beth is she is at the Deaf and Hearing Resources in Palm Beach County of Florida. She's like came in and she learned sign language, got her degree and stuff like that, and she's like just revolutionized Palm Beach County and
Oh my God!
Deaf-
So
the
now they're
deaf-
all talking to each other.
yeah, and like the deaf community, and she just did like Dr. Oz just did a presentation there, and they weren't gonna have a sign language person there. She's like, "What the heck?" And she did it. And
Oh my God!
anyway, she started my van
Yeah.
fund, which is amazing on
So that was
GoFundMe.
is that still live, Peter?
It is still live, yeah.
So it's on GoFundMe,
yeah.
and it is to get you a new van because
Yeah.
your van that you have right now, you can't use your motorized wheelchair.
Right.
It's not fitted for
Yeah.
that.
And it's just getting really old and stuff like that. And I'm just grateful and appreciative. I mean, it's already raised like $23,000.
Yeah. So anybody that wants to, and you should donate to the fund. You know what you should get, Peter?
What?
Is you should get that. You know that smart car, the smart
right,
car
yeah, I've
one.
seen those, yeah.
Where you just
There's just
wheel
no
use a
room.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
you
if you
just
go grocery shopping,
just-
you can't even put your bag anywhere.
oh, there's got to be some room.
Although,
in
like
there.
in spirit of disclosure, I did check one out at the Abilities Expo a couple weeks ago, and it is beyond my physical capability somebody's to drive one of those.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, because they are really cool.
Yeah, you just drive right up into it, right?
Yeah.
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 Because right now Peter's got to get up there while he has them, and then lock himself in and does this whole thing, right? And then I drove with him a couple of times, and it was not freaky or scary or anything like that. He's a very good driver, as a matter of fact.
Well, thank you.
You are.
So, and a funny quick story about Beth back when we were dating in college. We went from Champaign-Urbana up to Chicago, where we lived once. And my father had died when I was 16, and I had her in my van, and I decided that...
I had her in my van, he said.
Well, we were driving, and anyway, but it was like one of my first times driving. Like, I started driving on my own. It was very liberating. And one of the first things I wanted to do was visit my dad's gravesite. But for some reason, I had it in my head that I had to do it alone. So I literally... And the cemetery is, like, kind of in the middle of nowhere, like, outside the outskirts of Chicago. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't tell her where I was going. I dropped her off, like, on this hill with, like, nothing around it and said I'll be right back. And I was gone for, like, 3 hours. And she had no idea. And, this was before cell phones, anything. She had no idea if I was coming back, what was going on, anything. And,
oh, God, can you imagine?
And I kind of didn't remember the story, but she reminded me. I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe I did that. So, like... And then I didn't want to tell her where I went. For some reason, like, I had to keep it to myself, that it was like, I went to my dad's grave by myself.
Because it's dramatic.
So liberating and all this and, and
dramatic.
And she, for all these years, like, she, until she had brought it up, like, 25 years later, she had no idea why I left her alone on that hill.
You just left her there for 3 hours? Was she at least warm? Was it warm outside or was it cold?
I don't know. Like, I think she
you
was warm
bastard,
enough.
Peter. You
I know. See that?
bastard.
So maybe I'm not quite the nice guy
You're
everyone
not.
thinks I am.
All these stories are coming out. Listen, everybody listening, this is the Peter Hour, and he is not who you think he is.
Abandoning women, bondage porn.
Exactly.
I was going to say, we have to say, David, your cousin, is in the chat room. He said to say hi to
Oh,
you.
no way.
Awesome.
Hey, David.
And he also said that is not true. He goes, when you came to visit, he took us to Chicago in his van, and it scared the crap out of him.
That is
It
funny.
is I've only ridden David with him a couple of times, just a couple of times, but does a good job.
But when David rode with me, that was when I was first driving.
Oh.
And I barely had the strength to push the brake on my van. Like, sometimes going down a sharp hill, it was very precarious. Like, I had to tell the person in the passenger seat, can you help me press the brake, please?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And you press the brake with your fingers?
Well, with my right hand. Like, I put my palm on, like, a bar, and I press it for the brake and pull it for the gas. And now, of course, it's easy because I've built up my strength pushing all these years and stuff. But when David did get a ride in my van, it was in those early years, and I was precariously braking at times.
It was interesting because Peter called me, and it was about a year ago you had your accident. A year ago, maybe 2 years ago, the accident, and when you were in Beverly Hills, weren't you in Beverly
right.
Hills?
That was like right before Thanksgiving, like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, and when I thought about that was like so messed up, that Peter got in an accident. Because what do you do? Okay, think about this. I'm sorry you got in the accident, Peter, but
it wasn't my fault. The guy took a left on a red light right in front of me.
It just ruined his car, right? Well, my thought would be more about me being the person who hit and get out of the car, and then you realize that you hit a quadriplegic in his van. It's like he got enough guilt already. It's like
That's a bad day gotten worse.
That is
sure.
a bad day. That's too. It's not
Actually,
funny,
you know
but
what?
It is kind of funny.
Luckily, I was able to drive away from it. My van still ran, but the guy that hit me did, to his credit, came in because I was like, all this shit in my van went flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And, and I slid way forward in the seat, so I couldn't drive that way. So the guy that hit me literally got in the car and had to pull me back by my arms so I could sit back straight in my wheelchair.
Gosh.
I mean, how weird would that be? Like, you got into an accident, and now you find out it's a guy in a wheelchair, and now he needs you to physically help him to drive away. Like, it just would be that's weird. Like,
that was my whole thought pattern. Was when you told me you got in that accident, and I went through that whole scenario of what I would do if I was that person, and then I saw you, and I would be like, I would probably want to kill myself because I'm such an empath. It's ridiculous, And then there was something else I wanted to say. No, I forgot what it was before the show was over because the show is like we only got a few more minutes.
Oh my gosh, where's the time go?
Yeah. Peter, what are you now when I say what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you working on? What do you want to pitch? Anything, because Tony's getting really freaking strict here and we can't ever go over.
Right. And we only have like a minute or so left, but basically it's like when I went through this ordeal, like the thing that kept calling my name was to like get back to getting my creativeness out in the world. So I'm working on a screenplay. I've got an opportunity to paint that my friend Miriam introduced me to. That's a whole nother story. And actually earn money painting. And, I'm still doing a little social media, but I really want to get back into film, too, because I really miss making movies. So I'm working on a script. I'm going to direct a short film in a couple months.
Oh, there's a picture of him on the side. So I got all these little, 6 pictures, but they were, poignant ones for your
So
what
that's
you
it.
do. Yeah,
and if anyone wants to reach me, just petersoby@gmail.com.
At Gmail, Peter Soby, Soby.
Yeah.
And you can reach out to you on Facebook though too. Huh?
Yeah, totally.
You have like 1,800 or something friends, dude, on Facebook.
But I only know like 1,680 of them.
Oh,
There's
God.
like 120. They're like, who is this?
Yeah, really? I don't know any of the people on my Facebook page anymore. I don't know where they've come from or who they are. I really don't, because Facebook has changed and I really don't know. Do you know who all those people are?
One thing that hasn't changed, though, is the length of the show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Peter, you're so anal about it. It's like whipping me into place. Yeah. Okay, so...
And that's full circle. A whip, 50
so
Shades of Grey, bondage.
Oh,
Nice.
here we go.
Nice
That's
callback,
a
Tony.
nice little button. Let's
Yeah.
button the show up. Let's button it up, right? It's like, let's button it up, Wendi. You need to be a little more professional in your podcasting or whatever. I have to correct people. This is not a podcast. This is UBN Radio, and it is global, and it is live. And you can find us. I don't know if we say this on the end of my show, but you can find I have all of our past shows are on YouTube. And they're also on iTunes, and they're on TuneIn now. Are they on TuneIn? And
nice.
TuneIn, do you just go to UBN Radio on TuneIn? Or the Living Unfiltered, right? And on Facebook, on Twitter, it's at Unfilter Me, which I like that a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good one, huh? Well, Living Unfiltered was too long.
Okay.
Facebook, it's Living Unfiltered. And this is the place where we like to try to be unfiltered and laugh at things in life and not be too serious about it.
Today.
So we were unfiltered. I learned things that were new, and I'm a minute over. So, Tony, you're going to beam me up because Kurt is not here. And Peter, I love you, and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's time to wrap up another great hour of Living Unfiltered here at ubnradio.com. We'd love to hear from you. So if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss or you want to be a guest on our show, you can reach us at livingunfiltered@gmail.com. And since we're right here in the heart of Hollywood at Sunset Gower Studios, that's like saying, have your people call my people.